Hi guys, I hope you're all well. So welcome to 12th day of my challenge I set myself, which is basically to paint and upload a video every day for the month of November. So in regards to painting miniatures, yeah, that's no hardship because I literally am painting every day. But the actual doing the video, that's the harder bit. So what I'm doing this month is obviously I'm going through my pile of shame or pile of opportunity or pile of just basically unopened boxes still with a film on. So yeah, so this month I'm making myself go through all these wonderful boxes that I bought over a year to 2 years ago, with the intentions of obviously doing some sort of project. But sometimes I get distracted, which is why I've got such a lovely pile of opportunity. I've got a 3D printer, well, I've got several. I've been 3D printing for the last 4 years. But the only problem with 3D printing, you end up printing more pile of opportunity. And I just can't resist it. I get sidetracked so easy, especially when I go online and look at My Mini Factory, which is what I just recently did. And yeah, there's a guy on there called Mr. Modular. Absolutely love him. Can you guess what he does? Ever in a need for orcs, guys? Yeah, this is definitely the place to come. Check them out. Absolutely awesome looking orcs, all kinds of shapes, sizes, vehicles, all the rest of it. And I must admit, yeah, I knew coming here there's no way I wasn't going to print something off. And yet this guy, well, I think we kind of know who this is meant to be. Yeah, the orc, yeah, power pose, couldn't resist, had to download him. And well, this is what I'm going to print and paint in today's video. So obviously printed him out. Yeah, it came out pretty cool. But I want to make a little sort of diorama for him. So I also went on online and found the Grey Skull Castle. So I I flattened it and printed that out. And the reason for flattening it is I want to stick it in, well, this little photo frame. As these are a fun little way of painting miniatures and displaying them afterwards. So I guess you guys are all here to sort of see the painting. So we're going to go through pretty quickly on what I did here. But obviously I put a bit of basing material at the bottom, just sort of pack it out. Then I went through and, well, I put loads of, Americans call it spackle, we call it grout. Absolutely love this stuff, real cheap, but a great way of filling in areas. So I put that all over the top. And then I proceeded by putting on some cork that looks kind of like stones for sort of rubble. And I started off with the larger pieces, and then I put on some sort of medium sized pieces. Again, it's still cork, just obviously smaller pieces. And then just finish it all off, all the little gaps. Yeah, I've got some sort of sand, little stones here. I think this stuff is basically the stuff you get in fish tanks. Got a huge big bag of it, real cheap. And then using this, the old 2-part stuff that I always forget what it's called. The cheaper version of green stuff. Use this to make some little boulders. And I didn't like the teeth weren't big enough. So I've made some bigger, scarier looking teeth. So that was it. That's how it's kind of looked. I say fun little photo frames. Just a great way of displaying things. So as always, I've primed everything in black. Now I'm going to go over and do some dry brushing with white. Obviously my main preferred painting technique is using speed paints or dipping inks or any of those kind of like contrast paints really. And they seem to work so much better with this technique of priming in black and then doing dry brushing. Because then all the nooks and crannies are, well, obviously going to be black, any areas that I can't quite reach with the brush. So when I do kind of use the speed paints, the darker recesses are going to be even darker, which just really helps with the speed paints, giving that real hard contrast of light areas and dark areas. And I say, it's just a simple little thing to do, but I absolutely love it. So I've been doing this now for a good couple of years, and it is definitely my go-to method, as it really does speed up the process of painting, but with just awesome results. Far better than I could ever get by doing any kind of layering, feathering, building up paints, whatever it's called. Yeah, I've tried doing that, made an absolute mess of it, and it took hours to do. Whereas this, yeah, I can get a 6-man kill team painted in, well, depending on how many colours obviously, but around about an hour to 2 hours to get 6 miniatures done to a standard. Well, a standard I'm very happy with, and definitely tabletop ready, that's for sure. So yeah, this guy, normally with orcs, I tend to go with a darker green, but as he's kind of meant to be sort of like a He-Man, I thought I'd go for, well, the lightest green I've got, which worked out really, really well. There's not too many colours to him, so again, painting him really didn't take long at all. We're talking like minutes. Yeah, 10, 15 minutes absolute tops. But really pleased with how he's come out. Love the look of him. I say, Mr. Modulark. If you're into orcs, go check him out. If you're not, then don't, because he only does orcs. Does some vehicles as well and some terrain pieces. But obviously all sort of geared towards orcs, which is why, yeah, I love him. And I do check out what he's done sort of probably on a weekly basis, which is why I've kind of painted so many miniatures from him, because they're absolutely awesome. So yeah, this guy, so I'm going through the paints I'm using. Sometimes I use the metallic sort of paints by Speed Paint, Army Painter. But sometimes then I just use the normal sort of war paint range, again by Army Painter. And yeah, just love obviously the look and results I get from them. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell if you want to see more sort of painting videos from me. As I say, this month, yeah, I am doing a video every day. Just because I want to, well, I kind of always wanted to do this challenge of painting every day and making a video. Because I am painting miniatures every day. But yeah, definitely not doing videos. So I am doing a whole variety from my pile of opportunity. So yeah, there will be some sort of kill teams, General Warhammer 40k, D&D, Hero Quest, and I've also got some Lord of the Rings. So keep an eye out for that as well. And yeah, maybe the odd little 3D printed miniature, just because I can't resist. Yeah, honestly guys, 3D printing, yeah, it's awesome, but it's also bad because it just means there's so many more miniatures out there, some that you'd never even thought about buying or printing. Yeah, you pay your money, you download the file, and within some hours you've got the miniature there and then ready to paint, which is just absolutely awesome. So yeah, love the pose of this guy. I say He-Man, I kind of watched it as an older kid, because obviously I am quite old. But yeah, so I did watch it a little bit, but it wasn't sort of my main kind of sort of go-to thing. But say, the fact that Mr. Modulark, he turns a whole variety of kind of heroes, yeah, into orcs, as well as loads of other awesome model makers over at My Mini Factory. So yeah, go and check that out as well. And his hair. I mean, I know, is it orcs? They have creatures that go on their head, so they don't actually have hair. They're kind of like me, bald. But yeah, I love the fact this guy has got his toupee, and it clearly looks like a wig. So yeah, make that nice and bright, nice bright orange to sort of show that off. And I say, I just love how this looks with the old priming in black and then dry brushing. So with the dry brushing, there's a couple of ways you can do it. You can do it so you get smoother transitions. Basically, if you do circular motions when you're doing the dry brushing, then you typically get the smoother sort of look. Or if you just sort of like brush side to side, up and down, that kind of stuff, then you do get the harsher look, which I kind of prefer, because it does make miniatures look, well, a bit more realistic, I think. So yeah, so it didn't take long at all to do him. And now Castle Grayskull. Although it's really weird because I looked up loads of pictures of this because my memory wasn't too good on how it looked. And they all seem to be green. I don't know if it's just the ones I was looking at, but I always thought Castle Grayskull, it's kind of in the name, Grayskull. Well, I guess that's just a skull bit, I guess. But yeah, so I looked online and yeah, green seemed to be the colour. So, well, that's exactly what I went for when I come to paint this one. So yeah, again, a little bit of scenery. There's not too much here. Generally, when I'm doing miniatures, I don't do a whole lot with basing. As any miniatures that I play in any kind of games, I give them a nice clear base, just because I love seeing whatever's going to be underneath that miniature, whether it's the inside of a spaceship, or on a grassy field, or even a muddy bank, whatever it might be. So yeah, although I do have tons of basing material, it's like my pile of opportunity. I buy stuff with the intentions of using it for some sort of project, but then I get sidetracked by something else, and then I buy more stuff for that. So I do have a whole load of basing stuff, from rocks, boulders, sand, dirt, even fake snow, as well as all the tufts of grass and all that. But yeah, I should do more basing stuff really. Anyway, so this guy, yeah, obviously it didn't take too long at all to get the box frame sort of painted. Again, I've done a few of these now, and yeah, I just love it because it's just a nice way to, well, display a miniature. And obviously the good thing with these is they can either be sort of left on the desk, so this sort of tilts back just a little bit so it does sort of stand up on its own, or you could put a little hook on the back and, well, stick it on the wall because it's a picture frame. And then the last thing I'm kind of doing here, yeah, a bit of light dry brushing just over everything, especially the rocks, obviously hitting them with a bit of white just makes them look a bit weathered and worn. And yeah, doing the same for the floor, why not? So this is just plain white, dry brush, but a very, very, very dry brush. There's hardly any on there really. And then yeah, the last thing, well, I always say the last thing and then something else I do. Yeah, the actual frame itself. So the frame, I didn't really mention it, but it was 3D printed. But then obviously it's on a box that I use my laser engraver to cut out. So I will be doing another video soon with the old Creality laser engraver. If you've never thought about buying a laser engraver, if you can afford it and you have the room, yeah, they are pretty awesome things to have, I must admit. Especially for making, well, awesome boxes, and in this case, kind of photo frame. So paint his eyes red, and yeah, we are good to go. It's just a case of, well, gluing He-Man or He-Orc into position. And yeah, love it. Simple little thing, fun little thing to do. Obviously, I should be working on my pile of opportunity. But say I do get sidetracked very easily. It's unbelievable how sidetracked I can get. I'm like a dog with a stick, and then I go and see another stick. Anyway, enough of that waffle. Hope you enjoyed the videos, guys. So this is what, day 12. So yeah, nearly halfway. Absolutely enjoying it because I really am. Well, it's making me go through my pile of opportunity, get a whole variety of miniatures that I've been wanting to paint, but just not got round to it and painting them. But obviously, yeah, getting sidetracked still with a bit of 3D printing just because I couldn't help myself. Anyway, guys, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, leave comments down below, all that wonderful stuff. There's another video popping up on the screen any minute now. Give that a click, see more of what I do. And yeah, you guys take care. See you in the next one. Bye for now.